Another day and another scandal with our football club, as today a set of damning articles were released by The Guardian and other sources focus around our former owner Roman Abramovich. Are we possibly set to face a big points reduction or hefty fine based on Roman finding dodgy ways to circumvent FFP regulations? My friends, we got a ton of things to unpack and learn in these set of articles today, so share your thoughts and opinions. I want to understand how you guys feel about things. Of course, hit that like button and make sure you guys watch my other videos I've released the past few days. My friends, let's not waste any more time and let's unpack everything we've learned today. Now, I think it's interesting that we're finally getting some insight behind the club's current investigations with the FA and UEFA. As we know beforehand, we did pay an 8.6 million fine to UEFA based on incomplete financial details going from 2012 to 2019, and we have to remember that our owners have fully complied and been very transparent in dealing with this matter. But I guess let's understand the allegations against us right now, and as the Guardian report, leaked files reveal a ton of secret payments were used to underpass FFP. A joint effort has involved journalists from across the world over multiple months, having pieced this history of transactions together. Leaked files reveal a collection of payments worth tens of millions of pounds that stretch over a 10-year period where offshore accounts were used by Roman, of course, to give us footballing advantages. Naturally, questions are being brought up in regards to, whether we've declared all these payments. Most likely not. And supposedly the beneficiaries have been the agents of guys like Hazard, Willian, Antonio Conte, Etu, owners from Russian clubs, etc, etc. So it's a bit of a Mazzardino, if I have to say so myself. So let's continue on. Going back to off the book payments. Now, I guess as fans, I guess we aren't naive to the fact that tons of off the book deals happen all the time in this sport. I guess due to the competitive nature in terms of agents you're dealing with, clubs you're fighting against, etc, etc. Listen, if we're getting exposed for this, you'd have to expose the rest of football, yeah, because tons of these deals are happening left, right and center. The article reveals that Roman Abramovich owns a multitude of offshore companies which were created in the British Virgin Islands. And obviously the advantage you have with setting up companies in the, BVI basically, is that businesses aren't taxed on things like income tax, corporation tax, capital gains, etc, etc. Which means that I guess, it's a great negotiation tool where whoever you're negotiating with, they're set to earn the full profit, thus earning extra funds in the proceeds. Now, the article provided some examples, and one example was a deal that involved bringing Antonio Conte allegedly to this football club, and it goes like this. Roman owned a company called Conibear Holdings, which was based in the British Virgin Islands. This company struck a deal with the Italian agent Federico Pastorello up to the tune of £10 million for a 75% stake in one of the US businesses owned by Pastorello. Now, this business was allegedly this investment management service, whatever that means, and on that same day the money went through, we announced the signing of Antonio Conte. Now, Pastorello denies that there were any links involving the money that he earned and Conte signing for us, but at the same time, my friends, it gets me thinking this, wow, is this what it takes to sign players, hire managers, etc, etc? All these behind the scenes, hush money bonuses just to entice these guys to sign for us? Because I could have sworn Conte was earning around 10 million a year. He left Inter Milan. I don't remember there being tons of interest and competition for his signature. So I'm very confused by why these extra steps were needed to begin with. Is this how the game really works? A crazy amount of money. Crazy amount of money. And the cynical part of me is thinking we literally sacked this guy 2 years later and gave this guy a massive payoff to leave as well too. So I've always felt sometimes in football there seems to be way more money than the game actually needs, to be fair with you. But regardless, we got provided even more examples as well too. Now, supposedly the agent of Eden Hazard at the time received around 7 million from one of Roman's offshore holding companies as well too. And to be fair with you, I kind of understand that, because to sign Eden Hazard, probably the best signing, one of the greatest players in our history, yeah, competition for Man City, United and everyone else. I can understand why you're doing things behind the books, right? Naturally, with Roman's ties to Russia, there are more examples coming out involving Samuel Eto'o and Willian as well too. Now, we all know that infamous Willian song. You know the song I'm talking about. But Will.i.am, he saw the light, he got the call from Abramovich, and off he went to Stamford Bridge. We hate Tottenham, we hate Tottenham, we hate Tottenham, man. One thing that song forgot to mention, I guess, even though it's very, very catchy, was that Roman made more offshore payments to the owner of Anzi Makalavaka, whatever they're called, making 2 payments up to the tune of 10 million each. And obviously these payments were declared as like scouting and football related advice that was offered. But it's got me thinking this. I know we had to overpay to sign Willian, because we remember, he was taking his medical with Spurs. He was very close to signing for them until he left them to sign for us. So the overall deal to sign Willian was up to the tune of £32 million. I guess what confuses me is, was this like an additional 20 million on top? Or was this like a 20 mil payment that pays off most of the transfer fee, but it's done in a way where it's like we can reduce the costs on the books for FFP reasons? I'm not too sure, to be fair with you. I guess maybe this is the reality of how deals are done. Come on, I think one of the most intriguing transfers of recent times was Man City signing Haaland. And obviously we know that in terms of the agent fees, there's figures going around of like nearly 100 million, where like the dad earned like a crap ton of money from that. Yet only 63 million was paid. And I think allegedly it was those additional costs which put us off signing him that season we signed Lukaku. So it's like, maybe you guys should start to investigate what's going on with Man City as well too. Maybe that's the thought. Maybe you guys could find even more substantial claims. Listen, I don't know. Now, it's quite clear that we've been moving like this between 2012 to 2019 to circumvent FFP by using offshore accounts to allow us to spend more money and to not get bitten in the ass by these laws. Obviously, with transactions like this, not only are we breaking FFP laws, but most likely Prem rules as well too. So it's good that our new owners are getting on top of things and, not waiting to get hit and blasted with these allegations, but taking a proactive approach to work alongside these governing bodies to hopefully find like a suitable solution, because it's not really their fault, to be fair with you. And I hope that we don't face any punishments from some, past misgivings that no one really had any idea about. Now, I'm going to sound a bit cynical. You might even say I sound like a dickhead, but, I can't believe that we're moving like this, and it's not like we're taking the risks to sign players of the standard of Eden Hazard, right? Like, over the years, especially under Roman, we wasted a crap ton of money on duds. Like, some of the worst deals you can imagine, like Bakayoko, Danny Drinkwater for like 35 million. Oh my lords, frivolous spending with no direction, no ideas. And I can understand why when our new owners took over, they felt like, listen, there's a lot more upside to come from our football club. If they're properly managed, properly financed with a clear, proper sporting strategy, and not just being run by a rich guy who is just using us as his plaything, you know what, a lot more could have come. And I think when stories like this come out, that's the only thing that these stories remind me of inefficiency. These distractions that, didn't actually go towards like sporting success for the team. And I don't know, if we had like clear ideas from years back, I think we'd be at a much higher position in world football right now. And I say this because it hurts that we lost that mini dominance we were starting to build for ourselves to Man City, where, listen, Man City are clearly doing very dodgy things at that football club. Let's keep things absolutely real. We all know this. But at least those dodgy things have translated to consistent success on the field, right? Still though, we have some other interesting allegations. I think the most random one involved Roman dealing with Swindon Town. Now, but basically there's a law in this country which states that an owner can't have dual interest in 2 English clubs at the same time without the consent of the EFL. So I'm really curious as to what the business deal was with Swindon Town, because basically offshore account was used to pay Swindon Town's owner, giving him like a 1.25 million loan. The money was so the owner could lend the money he got from that account back into the football club. There were some stipulations though. For example, the loan repayment would be extended if Swindon got promoted, or would be forgiven if they didn't. But in return, the holding company would get access to the club's budget, players' contracts, staff's wages, etc, etc. All those types of details. And yeah, I'm very curious as to what the reason was behind that move. Like, is it helping out a friend? I think back then, weren't Swindon Town in like some, you know, bit of financial bother, if I can remember, I'm not too sure. Potential feeder club, listen, I've got no idea. And another controversy was Roman's dealings with, I think, his favorite club in Russia, which was CSK Moscow. It seemed like Roman helped out the owners at the time by using one of his holding companies to pay the money into the CSK Moscow's owners holding company. And then I think that money was used to help buy players for CSK Moscow. I think nearly up to the tune of 50 million was basically given to CSK Moscow. It's been denied forever that Roman had no like personal dealings with CSK whatsoever. Maybe he's just helping out a club that's kind of close to his heart, helping out friends. Got no idea. But yeah, let's see how this story pans out. I'm hoping that the proactive nature that our board is taking to work alongside these governing bodies is going to help us out in the long run. Maybe it's a bit of a fine. We've paid a fine off to UEFA already up to 8.6 million. And what helps us is that they can only look back at the books over the past 3 years. Hopefully we can find like an agreement too with, you know, the rest of these men. I guess my only thing is that it kind of like further emphasizes the fact that, you know, we were kind of like Roman's rich thing in that sense. Listen, we respect him, we all like him, he did big things for us. I can understand and accept that, you know what, he was probably moving like this behind the scenes, so be it. But I guess we wait and see to learn the ramifications behind all these secret dealings, all these offshore accounts, all this secret spending behind the scenes. And, you know, fingers crossed it won't lead to anything too serious. It seems harsh that an administration that has nothing to do with all those dealings in the past would face the punishment for things that happened like over 10 years ago. So yeah, let's hope that this amounts to nothing serious for us, my friends. So on that note, what's your guys' thoughts and opinions? Share them below in the comment section. I'm the EFC, this is BlueLionsTV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos. Cool.